That's just sports, baby.
Crowd goes wild, strawberry ice, bringing fire and style. Reds, Bengals, Bearcats, all in my zone. This is my stage, my mic, my throne. Boom, like a hammer, I'm breaking the game. Strawberry ice, you're gonna know my name. Sports Talk Thunder, hear the podcast roar. Cincy Slide is kicking down the door. Step into the lane where the passion ignites. Talking sports all day and all night. From the field to the court to the roaring stands. Strawberry ice with the world in my hands. Boom, like a hammer, I'm breaking the game. Strawberry ice, you're gonna know my name. Sports Talk Thunder, hear the podcast roar. Cincy Slide is kicking down the door.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio. And as always, I'm coming to you live from the Ice Cave.
All right, shout out to my sponsors. They are Priority Lawn and Landscaping for all your lawn and landscaping needs. You need your grass cut, you need your shrubbery trimmed, I don't know, you need a paver patio, you need anything, I mean anything. Landscaping requires. Think Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Also, shout out to T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And of course, Meyer Window, Door, and more. I got it in my house. I highly recommend you get them in yours. They're energy efficient, great looking windows, easy to clean. Meyer Window, Door, and more. The website is MeyerCincinnati.com. And also, shout out to my favorite brewery, Moorline Lager House. Get on down there, get you some delicious Moorline beer, some delicious Moorline food. And tell them I sent you. Moorline Lager House.
And of course, we'll be live down at the Moorline Lager House again this Monday night for the Bengals versus the Denver Broncos. So I hope to see you guys down there. It'll be $5 drafts, $5 well drinks, $5 wines, $5 shot. I'll be down there playing music, giving away prizes, having a good time. Hopefully watching the Bengals win. Now, one thing I do want to say this for the Bengals here real quick before I get into the Reds. So far on my season prediction, I'm exactly right. We'll see what happens Monday. Because I had us beating the Browns, I had us beating Jacksonville, and I had us losing to Minnesota. I got us winning in Denver. The reason I said that was because Zach Taylor usually has the Bengals ready to go in prime time. That's also with Joe Burrow. So after the debacle we saw Sunday, I don't know. We'll see what happens. What's up to everybody in chat? I know it's early again today because I was planning on going to the Reds game, but I unfortunately haven't been able to get anybody that wanted to go with me. So I guess I'll be sitting over there watching the game myself. But what's up there? We got Stranger in there, we got Furrow in there, and we got Dustin in there. Dustin, I'll get to your comment here in just a second. Last night I did go to the Reds game, and it was a heartbreaking loss. They lost to the Pittsburgh Pirates. There were so many times they had guys on base and hit the double play after double play after double play after double play. It was frustrating. Bullpen was lights out. Stinger just gave up too many runs in the first inning, and the Reds could not come back. But the Reds lost. The Mets won, and the Diamondbacks won. So the Reds went from in the playoffs to one game out of the playoffs now. But tonight we got a great pitching matchup. I can't wait to watch it. Hunter Green versus Paul Skeens. I got a Substack article that I'm working on. I'm about to publish it probably after this show, so you guys can check that out. Big test for the Bengals Monday night. Like I said, we'll see what happens. I picked them to win. I'm probably going to stick with that. I don't really have anything else to say. I just hope they play better. I don't believe that they are as bad as they were Sunday. I do believe the defense has played pretty good this season. The offense has got to get it together. If we're going to run the ball like we tried to run it on Sunday, we got to block the right guys. So Mike Petraglia is supposed to be joining me today, and he has not made it into the waiting room yet. So waiting for Trags to join. But let me get to Dustin had a comment here, so let me read it. What's up, Tony Blazin? All right, Dustin says, hoping for the best and just going to have fun. But ice, you've said it multiple times on the show, and even this year. But when you go to your backup quarterback, it kind of screwed Houday nonetheless. Yeah. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. We'll it's I know I'm usually high energy and fun, but I'm kind of sick to my stomach right now because the next 5 days could really determine how the season is going to go for the Bengals and for the Reds. The Reds are in it, but they can't lose games like they did last night when you have Paul Skeens that you're going to face the next day. I know we got Hunter Green tonight, but Paul Skeens is no joke. And I think he's 4-0 this year versus the Reds. And the Bengals, like I said, I feel like they're definitely not as bad as they were. I would like to know what would have happened if we didn't turn the ball over 5 times. Like the Godfather, Anthony Cosenza, is in the chat. What's up? But like Calvin Hill said, we had a football party. No more of those. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we had turned the ball over 3 times that led directly to scores. What would have happened if they hadn't gotten so far behind in the game? I mean, they were down 3 scores. I want to say by the first quarter, at least by the second quarter. I know because we finally went and scored a field goal, and then they drove basically right down and kicked in our field goal, or we fumbled it and they went down, kicked the field goal. I think we turned the ball over again. I think that's when I hear Samaje fumbled it or Chase fumbled it. And that was the thing. It's like, I don't know why they just were not ready to play on Sunday. If it was the shock of trying to get over that Joe's not here, because and a lot of stuff with the offensive line, I think they did. And people said, well, they try to have Jake Browning run Joe Burrow's offense. No, they didn't, because they tried to tailor it to Jake Browning. That's why they tried to run the ball a lot more. Our offensive line is not a run blocking offensive line, and they were doing stuff that they're not comfortable doing. They haven't practiced a lot. I don't, because they missed blocks. They missed it. I mean, Chase Brown had a hard time getting a yard, simply a yard at all. I mean, Samaje did good, and hopefully he'll be ready to go this week. But it was just a struggle when your whole game plan is to try to run the ball, and then you can't run the ball. So then they know you got to throw it. So all they got to do is pin their ears back and go after you because they know you can't run it. And you're down 3 scores, and you're turning the ball over every other play. It's hard to win games like that. And I just refuse to believe that we're more like that team than we are. I'd say more like the first 2 weeks. Because the first 2 weeks, yes, the offense still didn't look good, but they were opportunistic. They were in it. They made plays when they had to. They had no shot at this game Sunday from the jump. Mon, what's up? Mon's in the chat. We need offensive line play to play angry. They need to be more physical. I agree. We talked about that. I think me and Kat talked about that on Monday's show. Fire off the ball, especially if you're gonna run the ball. You want to fire off the line and knock them on their ass. And we didn't. But there was a lot of times, like I said, they missed the blocks. Completely missed them. So yes, and Denver is no joke on defense. The offense doesn't really scare me. Their defense does. I'd be way more confident with this if Joe Burrow is in there, but he's not. So I'm trying to get. Like I said, I'm trying to give hope. But right now, like I said, these next 5 days can be so crucial for Cincinnati sports general, especially for me, who tries to talk about Cincinnati sports every day, Monday through Friday. And I was hoping, I still hope we can talk about the Reds in a playoff run here. If they lose tonight, it's not good tonight. I mean, I think tonight's a must win, and you're going against the guy who's probably going to win the Cy Young Award. And the Reds haven't beat him all year. And then you get the Bengals, who honestly, we're first, and I first want to say it, we're in first place. And the Ravens left, and the Bears beat the Cowboys. Last week was weird. There's a lot of teams that played a lot better than they should. The Green Bay Packers lost, and I thought they looked like the best team in football. So there's a lot of weird stuff that happened this weekend. But with no further ado, he has made it into the waiting room. He is live from GABP. He is the one. He is the only. He's trash.
Can you hear me, Iceman?
I can hear you, man. How are you?
I'm outside in my customary spot outside the press box. You see these sayings above me. Anybody who's ever been to Great American Ballpark knows. This one says, "I'd go through hell in a gasoline suit to play baseball." I think we all know who that was.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's we're gonna talk some Bengals too, but let's talk some Reds here because I'm about to put an article out on my Substack, and I'm kind of like these next 5 days in general in Cincinnati sports, especially for guys like you and me who cover the Reds and the Bengals, can determine how this year's going to go for the rest of 2025. It determines if the Reds make the playoffs. I think it's a big game Monday night. But let's talk about tonight and I think for the Reds, this might be a must-win because of what happened last night. And unfortunately, you got to go against Paul Skeens, who I think is going to win the Cy Young, and I think the Reds he's undefeated against the Reds this year.
Yeah, and the thing is, Iceman, and I asked Gavin Lux about this, and he sort of agreed. I don't know if you remember his interview with Annie Sabo after the game on Sunday, after the 1-0 win in which he had the RBI double. But he said, we're a momentum offense. And I said to him today, well, what is a momentum offense and how hard is that to pull off against Paul Skeens? And he said, well, yeah, it's not going to be easy. You've got to string together on-base appearances, meaning by hit, error, or getting on base through a walk. Even last night, you saw Will Benson lead off an inning by getting on base on a wild pitch, striking out.
Yep. I was there last night. I saw it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whatever it takes, you've got to get on base, put pressure on the pitcher. Last night, the Reds were able to do that in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. But what happened in each of those innings?
Double play.
The inning ended with a double play. You can't do that tonight. I think Terry Francona gave a little bit of a hint today before the game. We spoke with him about a half hour ago as to what the approach is going to be, and that is to try and drive Paul Skeens out of the game as early as possible. And that was his approach back with those great teams in Boston whenever they went up against the Yankee pitching staff, which was a great one.
Right.
You need to get into the Yankee bullpen. Well, you need to get into the Pirates bullpen this afternoon. And yes, the Pirate bullpen got the job done against the Reds, but the Reds last night, as I just said, had their opportunities against Pittsburgh's relievers, but couldn't come up with a key hit. I don't think that'll be the case 2 nights in a row. If they can get Skeens out of the game in, let's say, the 5th or 6th inning and keep the game close, and you have Hunter Green replicate to a degree what he did last Thursday against the Cubs, you've got a chance. To me, that's the formula for beating Paul Skeens tonight.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan A to me. It's easier said than done too. It's like like last night, things couldn't get the hit. Like the shot that Will Benson, it was a foul ball. The left fielder dove for it and he trapped the ball. I mean, and then the very next one, he strikes out. It just, if that ball could have been fair, that's 2 runs right there. That ties the game up. It's just like, and they just could not get that hit last night. And shout out to the Reds bullpen. I mean, they were lights out. I mean, Connor Phillips, it was very impressive to me last night.
So I asked Terry Francona about Connor Phillips and his growth from last year to this year, and obviously he wasn't here in the organization last year. But Terry Francona knows that Connor Phillips has grown up quite a bit. He's learned how to manage his emotions, his thoughts, going into a situation like that, and he's got a great arm. What he's really been able to do is manage his great arm in high leverage situations. They got him up something like 4 or 5 times, starting I think in the second inning when Brady Singer started to get into trouble, and he kept getting up, and there was almost a point in time last night where they weren't going to bring Connor Phillips into that game, but it turned out when that opportunity arose, I think it was in the 6th inning or 7th inning to get him in the game. They got him into the game, and he has been, to me, an X factor in that bullpen. He have really, they've lengthened the number of options that Francona has late in games, and I think that's going to pay benefit. We're already seeing the benefits of that. They got the 1-0 win. Hunter Green had a complete game, obviously, but they got the 1-0 win last Thursday. They got the 1-0 win on Sunday. They gave up one bad inning last night, but as you said, the rest of the game was lights out. So the bullpen has been something to me to really latch on to as a positive in this final week of the season.
And is it interesting, or are you surprised? I think I saw the lineup right. They're batting Ellie 4th. Is that correct, or is he 3rd?
I'd have to go back. You know what? I'm going to have to go back and check.
But either way, they moved him up in the lineup because he was down in the 7th spot.
I will tell you in a second. Ellie is batting 5th tonight.
5th tonight. Okay.
T.J. Friedel, Noel V. Marte, Gavin Lux, Spencer Steer, and Ellie De La Cruz. Look, they have, for a lot of the season, they have took the approach of batting Ellie ahead of Spencer Steer. Now they're batting him behind Spencer Steer, and the results have been much better. You know, obviously Ellie was 3 for 3 last night with a home run and a walk in the bottom of the 9th inning. And he's been able to get on base. He looks like a different hitter at the plate. He looks refreshed a little bit. And, you know, for the Reds' sake, let's hope that is impactful and that does make a difference in these final 5 games.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're not going to make the playoffs or do anything in the playoffs without Ellie being Ellie. And I mean,
yeah, I agree with that. Yes,
he's got to be the guy for us. So let's roll this in. Like I said, what's your thoughts on what I'm saying here? The next 5 days are crucial for Cincinnati sports. Well, how the rest of this year is going to go. It could be a big deal here the next 5 days between the Reds and the Bengals.
Well, I think, like you said, it starts tonight with a marquee matchup here at Great American Ballpark. If the Reds can win this game and generate some more energy and electricity, and it does look like, knock on wood, the rain is going to hold off until about 11 o'clock, they should be able to get this game in. If they can win tonight and have some momentum going into the game tomorrow afternoon, the matinee, the business person special at Great American for the home finale. Get those 2 wins and then take it day by day in Milwaukee. I think the Reds are due to finally win a series in Milwaukee.
You would think so at this point, but and that's what scares us. I'm like, I wanted to sweep the Pirates and just get this out of the way, and then we didn't have to worry about Milwaukee. But I always go back to 99. And I talk about this with Jeff Carter's show yesterday. 99, the Brewers, who sucked then, screwed us. We won one game. It was a 3 or 4 game series. I can't remember. We won one game.
3.
And it was that rain delay that took us till freaking midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning to finish the game. And we got in that 1 game playoff against the Mets, and we ended up losing that. That's why I'm like, damn, ever since then, the Brewers have had our number. That was 20 years ago.
Well, and I do remember, if you recall, the Friday night game, the Reds had a lead late, and I think it was in the 9th inning, and blew that game.
Yes.
That changed the whole complexion of that weekend series. It really, really did.
It did. I mean, actually, go back, reminds me of the 2012 playoffs where we up 3-1, and Brandon Phillips got thrown out of third base in game 4, and it was never the same. It's like one momentum thing. It just changes. But let's talk about some Bengals here. And how big, I know, look, and I've tried to tell everybody, it's like we're 2-1. We're in first place. The Ravens are 1-2. They're where
Yeah.
they were last year. How big is it's week
Well,
4, but I think it's a big game. I mean, it's
Iceman, let me tell you, if they don't figure out their offensive line
yes,
between now and Monday night, it doesn't matter.
right.
They have to be significantly better. They have been
Yes.
bad. They have been
Yes.
very bad on the offensive line. Arguably, it's the reason Joe Burrow got hurt.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not really in that camp where I blame Joe Burrow for that injury. You can say that he exposes himself to a few more hits than he should. But in that particular case, he had nowhere to go. And on Sunday in Minnesota, they couldn't run the ball. They wanted to run the ball,
Right.
but they had no push. They have got to figure that out. I don't know if it's they changed the scheme with Scott Peters, if they go to a wide zone. I don't know if they pin and pull. They've got to do something to change the narrative inside that offensive line room. They can't go in. They cannot go into that game on Monday night with the same approach and just say, "Well, we're going to work it out. It's going to all. We're going to eventually figure it out,
Right.
and it's going to turn around on its own." It will not. They
Well,
have
it's
to
like-
do something drastic.
Yeah, it's like people came at me and said, "Oh, they tried to run the same offense as Joe Burrow." I was like, no, they didn't. That was a different offense. So they tried to run the ball more, and it looked like the guys didn't know how to block for it. Like they're trying to do stuff, which I mean, this offensive line is more of a pass blocking offensive line than it is a run blocking. But without Joe Burrow, we're going to have to run block more. And these guys were missing blocks, missing assignments, and they just couldn't get a push.
Here's something else I need to see from the Bengals: throw screens.
Yeah, where was that at Sunday?
the one screen that they did throw to Chase Brown was a terrific gain of like 11 yards.
Right.
And they forgot about it. I'm like, well, we didn't get the look. At some point you don't care about the looks. You've got to start dictating what you want to do, how you want to use your personnel, and then the defense be to a degree. And I understand you can't just throw it, throw caution to the wind, if you will.
Right.
But at some point, you've got to decide, we're going to do this. This is how we're going to do it. If we see a defensive look, this is how we're going to account for it. But we're going to do what we want to do.
Yeah.
Not, here's the look we're getting. We've got to change everything at the line of attack. That's a losing mentality if you're the Bengals. And they have to use the skill players that they signed, that they drafted. I mean, you have Jamar Chase, you have T. Higgins, you have Andre Osavash, you have Chase Brown, you have Taj Brooks, who I think can be a pretty explosive player for them.
Yeah.
You've got to get them on the field and start getting them downfield and making vertical plays and impactful plays. Run game and pass game.
Yes.
Ice.
Yeah. I mean, the other good play that I like that they only did once is they ran the ball wide with Jamar Chase. I think they gained like 9 yards, and then we never saw it again. And to your case in point, where the hell's T. Higgins? Where the hell's Yoshima? I haven't seen them all year. Even with
I asked this to Zach Taylor on Monday, and he said, "Well, we've been running a lot of 12 personnel." Well, I get that. That's one running back and two tight ends. So if you're going to have T. Higgins and Jamar on the field, there's no place for Andre. But my point is, well, get Andre on the field for T if you're not going to use him, or once in a while, and feed him the ball. He's an athlete with tremendous athletic skills, and I think you need to get him more engaged in the offense. And right now I see some players on that team who don't feel totally engaged. I think Chase Brown obviously was frustrated after the game on Sunday. He had no place to run. Obviously the issue with Yosavash and T. Higgins and Mike Gesicki. Where's Mike Gesicki been? We signed him to a 3-year contract. Get him on the field and just get the ball vertical down. Find a way. If you cannot pass block for 2 seconds, get rid of the ball, or 3 seconds, let's say. Get rid of the ball in 2 seconds and let your players make plays in space.
Yeah,
That's why Zach Taylor and Dan Fisher get paid the big bucks. They have got a scheme for plays to get this team vertical. They're not vertical right now.
Which that's one thing that surprised me because I really thought last year with Pitch as the OC, our offense was more imaginative. They schemed a lot of stuff. They schemed Jamar Chase open a lot more. And I have not seen that at all this year. And granted, I'm complaining about all this. We're 2-1. Last year, we were what 1-2 last year. I think exact opposite.
0-3.
0-3. Yeah, you're right. We're
man.
0-3. Yes, you're right. Because I remember losing the Ravens. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe we're 1-4. You're right. I remember that. But where is that offense that we saw in November, December of last year? And I know I'm the one that said this, that this team gets better as the season goes along. But that game Sunday, it reminded me of a game in the 90s I watched with David Shula as the coach. I mean, it was not good. There was nothing. We turned the ball over 5 times. They scored up 3 of them.
And those teams had Corey Dillon, who could make his own holes and really run with violence. They don't have any violent runners. I mean, Chase Brown
He's
an explosive. He's a slasher, but he's an explosive runner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they have enough violence in their offense, and I don't know where that's going to come from. So if you don't have that player, you're going to have to find other ways. As I said, I keep coming back to this. You're not going to win in the NFL playing horizontally. You have got to get vertical. You've got to scheme to get your players in space so they can head upfield.
Yeah, exactly. And Dustin Cross here got a question. He said, where are you guys at on Peters? This might be the worst offensive line I laid my eyes on. It's bad. I'm not saying I'm out, but I'm not very happy with him because I haven't seen them do anything.
Well, and there's room for criticism there. They have not been good.
Right.
And some of that's Scott Peters, some of it's the players. Orlando Brown Jr. and Ted Karras have not looked good. And by their own admission, they know that. And maybe the light switch goes on. Maybe this week in Denver, they find something. But hope is not a plan. Hope is not a plan. And that's why I'm saying it's up to Zach Taylor and Dan Pitcher to come up with some scheme to scheme these players into better opportunities to get upfield.
And one thing that's funny, Dusty here says that Pitch and Taylor feel lost. Now I'll kind of go back to 2023 when Jake Browning took over again. I don't think the first game went very good either. There was times where like, what the hell are they doing? And it got better. Do you still think there's a chance that, and we've documented proof that November, December, this team plays better under Zach Taylor. Do you see that? That's still a possibility. I know you can't see it now because I can't see it after Sunday, but that's one thing we can hang our hat on. But if that doesn't happen this year, is this the end for Zach? Because he's the one that brought in Pitcher, Peters. He's the one that brought in Al Golden. You know, he told you guys it was his choice to bring these guys in. And I know we lost Joe Burrow, but he got injured under Zach's watch with Peters. I mean, where are we at on that? Where do you think?
That's a very difficult question to answer at this point in time. It would really have to go south. There have to be, I think, more than just wins and losses taken into account. There'd have to be a feeling around the organization that players have checked out, that Jamar and T have checked out, that Joe Burrow is frustrated on the sidelines watching the team he hoped could compete, check out. There'd have to be multiple factors that go into any potential coaching change. At this point, I think Zach has done a very people are not going to want to hear this, but I think he's done a very good job coaching.
I think he has. I'm a Zach guy. I think he's done a good job. Yeah.
My bigger problem with this team is the talent. The personnel has not been good. The drafts have not been good. And we'll see what happens with Shamar Stewart. I think he is an impactful player. I think he's going to be a very good first-round choice. We'll see about Dylan Fairchild. He has to be better than he was on Sunday. I don't think there's any question about that. But in the first 2 games, he looked very solid.
Yeah.
Again, the jury could be out on Dylan Fairchild. But I think he has the potential of being your starting left guard going forward for quite a while. Their third-round choices have come under heavy scrutiny, and for good reason, Iceman. When you take a look at McKinley Jackson and Jermaine Burton from 2024, and now this year, you look at Demetrius Knight, who's actually a second-round pick. I'm sorry about that. But you have Demetrius Knight, you have Barrett Carter, you have guys that need to step forward and start becoming playmakers.
Yes.
Jalen Rivers, keep a close eye on him Monday night in Denver. He is going to get the start almost certainly at right guard for Dalton Reisner.
Dalton Reisner, yeah.
Yeah, I doubt Reisner's going to be available. We'll see. But it could be Jalen Rivers and Dylan Fairchild, two draft picks from this past year's draft, as two of your 5 offensive linemen in Denver. We'll wait and see. Dalton Reisner, his calf may not be that bad, and he may come back and start the game Monday night. But keep a very close eye on that all week long.
I'm very, very interested to see Rivers because I've said this, that I think he could be our future right guard. I didn't mean Monday night, but I think eventually he could be.
And I had the chance to speak with him on Monday, after the game in Minnesota. I'm very impressed with his poise, his ability to describe what the experience was like for him. He seemed to have a very good grip on things, Iceman. And it's all well and good to be able to be well spoken as a rookie. That's terrific. You got to go out and beat your man at the point of attack. And nobody on that offensive line really had a good game on Sunday.
No.
Kind of an understatement.
Exactly. And our boy Mon here's got some comments for you. He said the Bengals are turning into the 76ers.
That's a low blow. That is, but you know what? There are absolutely some similarities there. And what happened with the 76ers? They did not know how to build a roster.
Yeah.
The Bengals right now are in a critical situation where they can sign their own free agents, and they are to be lauded for that. That is terrific. No question about it. But in terms of developing their own talent and promoting it, it's been more than a struggle. It's been poor. And they've got to improve upon that. And that's why I say, if this season goes sideways on the Bengals, I don't think it's so much Zach Taylor under the microscope as it is Duke Tobin and the personnel department. That's where, if the Bengals are serious about really making the changes culturally they need to make, they got to take it. And I know we're talking about decades of experience and a record of experience that would indicate they're not about to do that. But they would have to take a close, hard look at their personnel department.
He's got one more comment for you. He says that Burrow is Joel Embiid.
Well, look, I am here, Mon, to tell you that Joel Embiid never got to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Boom! Take that, Mon!
The NBA Finals. And Joe Burrow got to the Super Bowl, and then the next year came within a couple of really bad plays of getting back to the Super Bowl in Kansas City. Joe Burrow is not the problem. Joe Burrow is part of the solution. Joel Embiid in Philadelphia has become part of the problem. He is one-dimensional. I know he puts up great stats, but at some point I think the Sixers have to move on from Joel unless they he's too – you think Joe Burrow is injury-prone. What in the world is Joel Embiid? Come on.
Well, that you brought that up, and I have fought that narrative on Joe Burrow that he's injury-prone, but at this point, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to fight it when you have season injuries.
Well, he has been. Look, Joe Burrow has been injury-prone, but when he has come back from those injuries, he has performed at a superior level.
God. Oh, absolutely.
And he's been reliable once he's been back on the field. The same cannot be said of Joel Embiid. That's, to me, where that argument would fall apart.
All right, so one thing I do want to talk about is this Bengals defense, and I know they gave up 48-10 or whatever it was Sunday.
Well, they really only gave up 14
right,
points.
That's the you kind of read my mind where I'm going. If you don't turn the ball over 5 times and 3 of them directly led the scores, it might be a little different. But they sacked Carson Wentz 3 times I think yesterday.
Yeah, I think Chris Jenkins had a very good game.
Yes. Now in general, I think this defense has played better. I mean, obviously played better than the offense has. That's not even debatable.
Of the number of issues that this team has, defense is probably 5th on the rung.
Yeah. So they're starting to some of these So whatever Algon's doing is starting to work. So hopefully it continues. The biggest thing is this offensive line, and this goes back to what we're talking about Orlando Brown and Ted Karras. We're hoping they play better, and hope's not a strategy. But they're in their 30s, or I think Orlando's in his 30s. NFL players just hit that hill and they just drop off. Do you think they've hit that? I mean, is that where we're at with these guys?
Time will tell. I'm not going to say that after 3 games of the 2025 season, but they're not trending in the right direction. Let's put it that. That's the best way to answer that.
Yeah.
You can only read based on trends. And can the trend change? Of course it can change. They can figure things out. They could look like the Reds have, like Andrew Abbott has, or who's a good example? Nick Martinez, even Ellie to a degree. Brady Singer until the second inning last night. A lot of these Reds look like they got a second wind when the team got back into contention over the last week. True. The same can happen with the Bengals offensive line.
And the Bengals they're in first place. I mean, that's what sucks about this whole thing is they're actually in first place. They're above 500.
One bad game. Look,
it's one horrible game.
Look, the Bengals can change the narrative.
Absolutely.
In one game, don't turn the ball over 5 times. Be able to convert 2nd and 5, get into 3rd and 3s instead of 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 10. And you can change the narrative in one game. People love to panic. But I will say, and these are Ted Karras' words, not mine. The first 3 games, we have not been good. And what he's talking about, of course, is the offensive line.
Right. Now, one thing I got to tell you here, just to toot my own horn, but so far I'm exactly right on my schedule prediction. I had us beat the Browns, beat Jacksonville, and losing to Minnesota. Now we'll find out how good I am, Trax. I had us winning in Denver, so that was before the season even started. We'll see what happens here. What is your gut? My gut feeling is they're going to play better. They're going to be in this game, and I think they're going to have a chance to win this game. I do think they're going to be in this. I don't think it's going to be like Sunday.
Right.
What's your gut feeling here on this is Wednesday, the 24th? You got like.
I mean, I don't picture them winning this game, but I picture them playing better. And if it's a competitive game, that's a step in the right direction. People are not going to want to hear that with the Detroit Lions coming to town. That Detroit Lions team looked like a Super Bowl winner on Monday night in Baltimore. But, the Detroit Lions lost to Green Bay at Green Bay. And who did the Green Bay Packers lose to on Sunday? The Cleveland Browns.
Right. So there's a lot of weird losses Sunday, too.
Take a deep breath, everybody, and just let the games play out. If the Bengals don't improve, they don't improve, and we'll be here to rip them and criticize them. And they know that. They absolutely know that. But do I expect them to get totally blown out again? No, I do not expect that.
I hope not. Trags, I know you got to get the heck out of here. I appreciate you joining me from the Reds. You do an awesome job covering the Reds, Bengals, Bearcats, tags, or plugs stuff before I let you go.
All right. Online, CLNSCincy with a Y.com. You can read about the Reds coverage here from Great American Ballpark. You can also read up on my Bengals coverage starting tomorrow as they get ready for Monday night in Denver. Of course, the Jungle War podcast is me and Skinny every game, post game at youtube.com/@JungleWarPod. And then on the X at Trags, TRAGS.
Awesome. Always appreciate you, Trags. Thanks, buddy.
All right, dog. Take care.
See ya. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Trags is awesome. Go follow him on everything. Listen to him and Skinny on the post-game podcast. Hopefully, we'll be talking about a win on Monday night. Like I said, I do believe that they're going to have a chance to win this. I think they're going to be in it. I don't think – I can't see us turn the ball over 5 freaking times from veterans who don't turn the ball over. Like I said, when you got P. Ryan who doesn't fumble, you got Jamar Chase who doesn't fumble. I'm not sure about Fant, but I don't think Fant's fumbles very much. You got one guy from the Minnesota Vikings who had a Hall of Fame day. It just I don't see it happening again. We will see what we will see. And yes, Natty, I'm with you. It's a must win tonight. And like Trag said, which is he said that Tito told him that their plan, which is a great plan if you can accomplish it, is to go after Skeens and try to get him out of the game as soon as you can. Now, with that being said, this is Skeens' last start of the year. So I don't think Skeens is going to be easy to get out, want to come out, or anything. He probably will win the Cy Young Award. He's going to want to make a statement win or statement start for his last start of the season. The Reds got to come out, be aggressive, get deep in the count on him, make him throw a lot of pitches, and I want them to be terrors on the base paths. Get on the base paths and run. I want them to run. Get to second base. You're on first base. Get to second base. But, like, I want TJ Friedl there. There was a couple times last night I was at the game. The third base was damn near in the grass. Just butt the ball down the first baseline, get on base, and get your ass over to second. We need to be terrors on this base path and create havoc. Is what the Reds need to do. We got Hunter Green on there, who I think is going to go toe-to-toe with Skeens. So it's probably going to be a one-run win by one of the other teams. And every time we say it's a pitching matchup, most of the time we all get excited about it. 5 home runs happen. I don't see that happening tonight. Not with these two. Not after what Hunter Green just did his last outing. And not for what Skeens is pitching for. He is pitching for something, not just, he's pitching to put a rubber stamp his Cy Young season. So, we'll see. Natty, what do you got? If it ain't football, it's baseball. Why did Natty struggle against this? I don't know. Small ball, baby. Exactly. Small ball. And maybe Ellie, he hit one out last night. Like, maybe Trags is right because they got back in contention. They got their second win. Like, if they're not fired up to play tonight, then I don't know how you can't be fired up to play baseball. You still have everything in front of you. One day at a time, go out there and win this game. Starts here at 6:40. Like I said, and Trags thinks the weather's going to be okay. Looks like it. He's not a meteorologist, but hopefully they'll get this game in, and we'll see what happens. But thanks for watching. I've been live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitch. You can follow me on all those, along with Substack, which as soon as I get done here, I'll be publishing the article I was writing on Substack, so you can go check it out. Substack, Sports of Strawberry Ice on Substack. I'm also on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. I will be pulling off the sound later on tonight after we've done publishing that article and putting it on the podcast. So if you want to listen to anything Trags had to say or I did, check it out. It's on BeanPod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Do me a favor, listen to it, rate it, like it, review it, leave a 5-star review and a comment so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast.
All right, shout out to my sponsors. They are Priority Lawn and Landscaping for all your lawn and landscaping needs. You need your grass cut, you need shrubbery trimmed, I don't know, you need a paper patio, you need anything. I mean anything. Landscaping required. Think Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Also, shout out to T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And of course, Meyer Window, Door, and more. I got it in my house. I highly recommend you get them in yours. They're energy efficient, great looking windows, easy to clean. Meyer Window, Door, and more. The website is MeyerCincinnati.com. And also, shout out to my favorite brewery, Moorline Lager House. Get on down there, get you some delicious Moorline beer, some delicious Moorline food. And tell them I sent you. Moorline Lager House.
Again, I'll be back down at Moorline Lager House this Monday night for the watch day party at Moorline Lager House. $5 drafts, $5 house wines, $5 well drinks, $5 shots. Come on down and to root on the Bengals to win. I'll be playing music, giving away prizes. It's going to be a lot of fun, especially when the Bengals win. Tonight's a big game. Reds got to win. It's a must win. Next 5 days in Cincinnati sports is going to be crucial. By Tuesday, we could all be very happy, or we all could be crying on our beer. We'll find out. But always remember this. One thing and one thing only. That's Houday for life. Go Reds. And that's your sports, baby. See ya!
Another great show. You guys still here? The show's over. You can come back tomorrow. I'm out of here. See ya.